I am Dr. Lalit Mohan Parashar. I am an ENT specialist at Apollo Spectra, Kailash Colony Hospital. I would like to talk about a very common problem which we all face. You must have known some uncle, some parents or someone elder in the family who snores a lot, and even youngsters increasingly are seen to be snoring. Generally it is left as a laughing stock and is made fun of, but no one realizes that this is basically a harbinger of a disease inside. The disease can actually be a very serious disease called obstructive sleep apnea. So today I would like to elaborate upon this obstructive sleep apnea, that what is it and how it is bad for us. It has got three parts in the diagnosis, that is obstruction in the air passage during sleep when our muscles go lax, and this is leading to apnea, which literally means stoppage or cessation of breathing. Now stoppage of breathing we all know is not compatible with life. So body has to again and again restart us in a way. Like if we gave a simile of a car or a scooter, you are restarting your body too many times in the night when you are sleeping, and that puts a lot of load on the rest of the body. That in effect is called obstructive sleep apnea. So next time you come across a person who is snoring, please do him a favor to send him to a good doctor so that we can know that he is actually suffering from an illness if he is, and then we are able to manage it better. Now how do we know that person is having a problem? Snoring is the first thing we talked about, but then how do we know it is a disease snoring? So we have to differentiate between snoring which is runs in the families that doesn't qualify a person for a disease, and on the contrary there can be people who are actually struggling with life when they are snoring. So to differentiate we have 3 or 4 very regular features if it is a disease. First and foremost alarming bell should be if the person keeps on sleeping, sitting anywhere in the chair, in the airport lounge, in the bus or traveling. So if it is daytime sleepiness, that should alert us. The other two harbinger points are if the person has to get up in the middle of the night for urination. If he has to go to toilet more than 2 times in the night, that means the person's sleep is actually very much disturbed. And a third thing is if the person wakes up with a dry throat or wakes up in the middle of the night for taking water because throat is too dry. Dry throat again means that person has to open the mouth to breathe, and therefore it is a sign of obstructive sleep apnea. So with all these things we come to know that this person actually has a clinically significant amount of obstructive sleep apnea, and we need to investigate it further. To investigate, when you go to the doctor, he has to examine your nose, throat and the airway so as to know a comprehensive diagnosis of the airway where actually there is obstruction. There can be causes of obstruction in the nose like deviated nasal septum, जिसको बोलते हैं नाक की टेढ़ी हो जाना. There can be polyps in the nose. There can be certain other swellings. So those. Similarly in the throat, especially in children, the tonsils can be a source of blockage. Adenoids at the back of the nose can be a source of blockage. So we find out in the oral cavity, but in snorers, especially adult snorers, the most common culprit is the palate. Palate is the upper ceiling of the mouth, which we see as flapping, the uvula which is hanging in the center. That along with the rest of the soft palate becomes thick, and that leads to blockage when the person lies down. So snoring is maximum when the person lies down straight and less on the sides. So anyway, coming back to snoring, how the doctor has to diagnose, and once there are enough clinical evidence that person is having a problem, we have to essentially subject for 2 investigations. One is sleep study. When the person sleeps, our technicians come and they take the nighttime parameters like oxygen saturation throughout the night, heart rate, breathing rate, then how much is the fall in the oxygen and how much is the carbon dioxide buildup. That taken all through the night tells us a good idea of whether the person is having a good night's sleep or not good night's sleep, whether the person is having dangerous level of apnea, that is the stoppage of breathing, and that can be alarming. So we are alerted to the possible danger. The second investigation which we order in such a thing is the exhaustive imaging of the airway, that is from the nose to the throat to the airway of the lungs. We know the air passage, we see it on the images of X-ray and CT scan and MRI. There can also be a dynamic MRI where we actually see the whole thing, palate moving during sleep, and if there is any movement like the snoring, we will know where exactly is the blockage. So we can delineate, and how much small it goes, that tells us whether we have to intervene or not. This in effect was how we diagnose obstructive sleep apnea. Now once diagnosed, What can we do about it? Unfortunately, there are generally no medical managements. We can manage some amount of allergic rhinitis, but otherwise whatever the causes are have to be managed more efficiently. One way is, depending on the gadgets, we can put in CPAP or some machines which artificially give you the breathing. That is called CPAP or BiPAP machine, whereby we are obviating or we are bypassing the obstruction by a pressured breathing. That is called CPAP machine, where person has to wear a mask like machine which is connected to a console that gives the pressure at a time when the breathing stops. Something like pacemaker we have in the heart. The moment heart stops, pacemaker gives a current and you have heart restarting. Similarly, in this case, the airway is given a blast of air and the person breathes. So breathing never stops, breathing continues like it normally should be. The other thing is, this puts the person onto lifelong usage of machine. Person cannot sleep without the machine, but yes, it is able to control the symptoms. The only other thing we can offer is a surgical intervention if possible, whereby we can do the surgery at various levels in the airway, starting from the nose to the turbinates inside the nose to any other obstruction in the nose. Then we can also take the tonsils away to open up the passage, take out the adenoids in children, especially at the back of the nose, to open up the passage, and also take away the thick palate so that the whole area opens up and person has a great relief from this. This surgery is very rewarding. The success rate is nearly 100% and people remain healthy thereafter. So this, if need be, has to be resorted to, and that, my friends, is a message for you, that obstructive sleep apnea or snoring in any person is not just a laughing matter. It has to be taken very, very seriously and should not be ignored at any cost. Another thing I want to point out, especially in case of children, any breathing noise in a child is abnormal. Adult snoring we have talked about, but in child, if any child, any age group, if the child is having noises during breathing, it has to be taken with equally degree of significance, because if the child is not breathing properly throughout the night, child will not have a proper growth and development. It can lead to mental retardation, it can lead to falling scores of the child, it can lead to irritable child, behavior problems and other things. Bedwetting, etc. are the physical manifestation of similar problems. So all said and done, if a child is having any amount of breathing noises, child has to be taken to the doctor, preferably an ENT surgeon, so that they can look inside the throat for assessment of tonsils and similar swelling at the back of the nose we call adenoids. If these things are causing blockages, they have to be dealt with properly. There are ways and means to how to go about it. If need be, we can even have to resort to surgery so that child is having a better future in life. We are doing this surgery almost everywhere all over India. Now doctors are increasingly recognizing that obstructive sleep apnea can be dealt with surgically also, and results are so gratifying that people are going for it. But in India, we are sitting at the epidemic of obstructive sleep apnea, and therefore lot of population does require this intervention. When we are doing the surgery or thinking of a place where to go for surgery, we have to take into consideration that where the latest techniques are available. What we are using at Apollo Spectra Hospital is a latest technique called coblation. We are using coblation, that is the plasma. Plasma is 4 states of matter. I will remind you that we have 4 states of matter: solid, liquid, gas. We generally all know. Plasma is a state as our sun is perennially in. So that is the plasma which is generally achieved at 3000 to 4000 degrees centigrade. Now with the latest technologies, we achieve plasma at room temperatures. That is the beauty of coblation. So we have cutting and ablation achieved at the room temperature without causing damage to the surrounding tissues. This technique is available at our Apollo Spectra Hospital, and when we are doing surgeries at the nose, in the palate, in the tonsils, we are using this technology to not only cut but also ablate, that is block the vessels at the same time so that person doesn't bleed. It is almost a bloodless surgery of the tonsils, of the palate, of reshaping the palate, and therefore it is the results we achieve are actually very gratifying, and in the post-operative period person doesn't undergo too much of a problem. So we should always try and think of a good place to get such surgeries done. It also requires backup to be able to control the person's breathing in the immediate post-operative period time, so that person doesn't fall sick to other problems. Thank you.